Hey everyone, it is late at night and I am Norman. I recently traded off the Motokata, which was that crazy, unique chronograph watch with the wild hinged lugs on it, and I traded it for another Citizen. So I have two Citizen watches that in the future will be up for trade. This one is quite a bit different than pretty much any other piece that I've had in person. What watch is that? This Citizen Eco Drive Pilot Watch. So for the Motokata, I had one viewer who was interested in it, and he had a few watches that I could choose from as options for the trade, and they were all larger watches. I was hoping that the Motokata would garner some trades for weird, interesting watches, unlike anything you've seen before, kind of like the Motokata itself. However, one of these large watches was this Citizen watch, and it's a pilot's watch, so I figured its large size actually makes sense because even back in the day, pilot's watches were large, so yeah. And when I saw this watch in person, wow, this is a really cool looking design actually. So let's take a close look at it, do some first impressions of it, and I'll show you what it's like on the wrist. Let us begin. Alright, so here is the Citizen that I traded the Motokata for. There's a lot of brushing on it, but enough polished surfaces to let it play with the light a bit. It's very machined looking with this bezel here and the brushing going in a circle along it. I really like how three-dimensional that dial is. So there's the rehaut there, and then it drops down to where the dial is. And then it sinks down even more on the inner track there. That's pretty cool. And this style of date window I actually kind of like. I feel like it makes it look like more of a design element than an afterthought. The colorway on this piece is great. The hue of that gray is really cool, and the orange highlights here and there, I like that. The case back is pretty nice. It has kind of an oversized crown, and it's an eco drive, so you can't wind it or anything like that. You'll just be using this for setting the time. There's some lume on this. And the case kind of angles in toward the bottom there. It looks really good on this color of strap too. Very pilot watch style. You have some branding there. And it's so crazy that there are 3 different sets of indices on here. We have minutes around the outer part, 12 in orange, and then a 24. Pretty wild. That seconds hand looks so cool with that orange on the end. And it's crazy, this watch is 45 millimeters, so it is big. But I feel like being a pilot watch, that's appropriate. Look at that crystal. And the viewer has kept this in great shape. As far as I can tell, there's nothing on that crystal as far as any kind of wear or damage. I don't think this is sapphire. I'll have to test it before I do a full review. But maybe? I'm guessing not. Not sure how many watches Citizen puts sapphire on, but look at this crazy comparison size-wise. So here we have the 36 millimeter Everest compared to this 45 millimeter pilot watch. That is so wild. The entire Everest would fit into the inner part of that dial. But I've worn this a couple times and it actually doesn't wear terribly huge, even though it is large. And surely on camera, when I put this on in just a moment, it's probably going to look gigantic on me. But when I look down at my wrist, it doesn't look quite as crazy as I thought it would. And I'm used to wearing smaller watches, so I thought for sure this would just look monstrous. But no, not terrible. I really like this design. So cool looking. But yeah, I'll spend some time with this, enjoy the watch for a bit, see what it's like, experiencing it some more before I do a full review of it. But let me show you what this looks like on the wrist. Tonight I'm wearing my 36mm Armida dive watch. Such a cool watch. And I've had it on this rubber strap ever since I got the strap shortly after buying this watch. It looks so great on this piece. I'm so glad I stumbled upon this watch because way back when I owned an Armida, and I absolutely loved that watch. But I was weird at the time, and that one had 200 meters of water resistance. That was not enough. So I ended up selling it for a Jeanneau Ocean Rover Note 8. And that one had 300 meters of water resistance. Interestingly, this one also has 300 meters of water resistance. Such a cool watch. Let me take this off and we'll see what the pilot's watch looks like when it's on your wrist. But, I mean, in person, not too terrible. Way too big for me personally, but yeah, it looks like it hangs over the edge of my wrist in the camera, but very cool. So there you have it, the big, bold, and well-designed Citizen Pilot Watch. Thanks for watching.